Well, hello. These are the critiques of your informative video speeches. And get my folder open here and find everything. I had everything out and ready to go. And just as I get to starting, I had to move things. So here we go. All right, a couple of things I want to say first of all and get things on the record. There are 160 points you can get in the discussion board, and many of you are leaving points on the table simply because you are not reading the instructions. You can't get 10 points if you do not do half of the assignment. And half of the assignment, in a lot of cases, is respond to someone else's posting. Now, we have things that say you are to go on and you are to list how you would do a speech and the kinds of things you would talk about, and maybe 2 or 3 different topics. And then someone else is supposed to come on and kind of brainstorm with you. That doesn't mean the other person comes on and says, oh, that's a great idea, or that'll be a good speech. You're not going to get points for that. You have got to do analysis. You've got to follow the directions. And so we're not getting that, and as a result, it's costing you points. Please don't leave points on the table. It's too crucial to do that. Our first speech is done by Darts, and it was on carpal tunnel. It was a very interesting topic with some good visuals. However, you had a very noisy audio on your camera to the point I can barely hear you, and at times I can't even pick up many of the words that you're saying. You are too bound to your script. In a sense, you're reading your script. You can't do that. You need to talk to us as you go. You need to bring some energy to your speech. You just can't go along at this level throughout and make it an interesting speech. People don't talk that way. They've got to have some variety, and they've got to have a little energy, and they have gestures, and they move, and things like that. So get some energy in what you're doing. Watch the tisk, so that when you're talking, you don't make that sound when you talk. Fix the audio noise for your next speech. And also at one point you said 50% of you guys here. Boy, watch the grammar. This is a speech and you're supposed to be paying attention to the fine points. All right, next up is McLovin. You spoke about pizza. It was interesting. You never showed a visual per se. You made a reference to the pizza that everyone was going to enjoy afterwards. And then you sent me a picture of a pizza. Presumably that was the picture that was there. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Pardon me, it's cold season. So, you know, when you do the visuals, make sure the visuals have some kind of place in your actual speech so that we know they were there. You want to keep the flow moving so that it sounds like you've practiced, that you know how to move from one point to another, that you're actually making the speech move along. Keep the energy level high. Again, don't have this monotone kind of one level. You want to vary pitch, pace, tone, volume, and put some silence in there from time to time. You cite many facts without giving any sources. When you say something, and don't hold me to this factually, but if you say that pizza was invented in Rome, my first impression is, says who? Back that up. Give me some source for that. And also, for all of you, please read what it says about sourcing. Giving me a URL address is not a source. So make sure you understand the difference in those things. Where does your visual relate in the speech? You sent me a copy of it, but I have no idea how you used it. Watch the tisk. You also are making the tisk sound. Watch the vocalized pauses, the and you also did a you guys know. Come on, watch the grammar. Cite your sources, and you have a wonderful ability and a wonderful skill. Work on your energy and your eye contact. Okay, next up is Barbie. Barbie, you spoke about driving, and one of your audience members introduced himself and said he was 15 years old. Please read the directions on how old the audience members have to be. Why are you sitting? Never, but never sit when you give a speech. Your audience should not be behind you. They are to be in front of you. You talk in their direction, but talk to the camera. They're also distracting behind you because they're moving and they take the attention away from you. I can't see your eyes. You gave no sources. I saw no visuals. I only had one outline. You did not read and follow the speech directions. So you want to make sure you take care of that. And also, your speech ran 2 minutes and 45 seconds. That's very short of the required length. Next up is GEMM, G-E-M-M. You spoke about hippotherapy, and this was a good speech, and it was well presented, but not documented very well in your outlines. So make sure that you cite a source for all of your facts. You must cite them in your outline too when you do that. Where did the information chart that you used come from? You mentioned lots of names, but you have no works cited. Send a copy of the chart. Don't just show it. I need to see a copy of it so I can look it over in more detail. It was somewhat of a weak ending. You know, part of the rubric says vivid ending. Make sure that you work on that. Overall, nice job on the subject. You need to read the directions in depth and provide all of the documentation, but a decent job on what you were talking about there. Next up is swordfish. You talked about the colts. There was only one outline provided. You need to smooth out the rough spots, work on the flow, especially at the beginning, so you get equally adeptly from one point to another point as you're going. You cited sources, no sources in your speech. You're talking about things and give sources. Sometimes the source might be that this was in the Indianapolis Star in 1983. That's a little weak, but at least you're giving some basis of that. You had no visuals shown. You kind of died at the end of your speech. You want to finish strong, vivid ending. Remember that. Watch your vocalized pauses, the ah. Then we are going to watch all of that. You said some stuff like that. That's not very formal in terms of speech. Don't be too casual. You have a basic speaking skill. Now practice and develop the confidence and energy that goes with that. Next up is, that's it. That is it. So those are all of the speeches that we had this time. Make sure that we got them all. Yeah, that's it. Okay, a couple of things. Number one, watch the directions. Number two, read the directions carefully so you're providing all of the information you need to provide. Now, a couple of points for you. Do not come anywhere near a topic you have already used in any remaining speech in this class. So if you've talked about anything related to emergency care, health care, transportation, food, whatever the topic may have been, you can't use that topic again. Okay? I strongly suggest, because to be honest with you, we've heard it so many times that nobody will be able to do an adequate job. Do not use for your persuasive speech the topic of abortion or anything related to it, or capital punishment. We've heard it all, and you're not going to bring anything to it. And to be honest, you're going to be a lot better if you look around for topics that will be a lot more important to you in the environment in which you work. Okay, again, we'll be posting the Blackboard scores. We'll also be posting the Excel spreadsheet to show you how you're doing in relation to everyone else. And again, your name will be in there by your fantasy name. If you have any questions, call me in my office. And until next time, that's it. Have a great one. We'll talk to you later.